Hey everyone, welcome back to Streetball AllStars. That's right guys, we're back to the original intros. You know why? Because we're we're back to original intros because I've ran out of intros I can copy from YouTubers I legitimately respect or actually care about. So yeah, let's go back to the original intros. But yeah, today guys, we're gonna be talking about one of, in my opinion, it's one of the worst strategies out there, one of the most annoying to fight. But yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today, which is the Zachary screen strategy. Let's get into it. All right, everyone. So firstly, let's talk about what this strategy is about in just the basic terms. It's where the big screens and then Zachary's just going to dunk through the big screen, and because he's screening the other big man, your teammates, they can't block that Zachary because the big is screening for Zach, and you rinse and repeat that. You just dunk spam with that. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about this strategy. So firstly, let's talk about Zachary himself. What stats do I want you to actually give Zachary when it comes to this strat? So I'd say this is still the same as always. The best way to actually use this strategy is to give Zachary max power, in my opinion at least. You have to give him max power because everybody, or to be more specific, all power forwards dunk on all bigs now. That's pretty much just the truth. A power forward is going to dunk on another power forward or center or small forward, whatever. Even though they're actually using max power as well, you're still gonna be able to dunk on them here and there. It's not really that uncommon, but since that's the case, you might as well give Zachary just max power so that he actually has a better chance of dunking on those other bigs as well. Really, the only problem now is Tough Guy, but even then, it doesn't even activate every single time. So, just give him max power still so that he can keep dunking on everybody if he manages to actually dunk on them, which again, it's not even really that uncommon. So, with that being said, I want you to give Zachary max power. But if you are still worried about Tough Guy, you're fighting really good enemies, and they just keep on connecting, even though they're shooting guards, they're tough guys. If that's the case, then you might as well just give him max speed so he can help on defense. But still, what I want you to do is to give Zachary max power and maybe a little bit of jump to make it easier if you're new to this strategy. For the big man, of course, it's Robbie. Surprise, surprise. Dunk spam, it's Robbie. It involves screening, it's Robbie. It's Robbie. Robbie's gonna screen for you. He has the biggest hitbox in the entire game. He has one of the best defense against anti-dunk as well. So, taking that away would be so good as well. So yeah, Robbie. There's not much to explain here. It's Robbie. And here at point guard, you're gonna want to actually use Becky. See, Becky has the best dive in the entire game while also having the highest speed. So her defense against perimeter shooters or against other point guards, it's just really, really good. She's one of the best defenders out there when it comes to point guards, and if you have Becky, she is perfect for this strategy. But to my free-to-play brothers out there, I recommend that you still use Neko or Boa, even Nana. In all honesty, almost all point guards work here on this strategy because the main scorer is still just going to be Zachary. So I suppose really the only point guard that wouldn't really work with this one is most likely Takumi. So yeah, everybody else but Takumi works, but the best one is Becky, and Neko, Boba, or Nana comes out at second best. Alright, so let's talk about this strategy just a little bit more in depth. So Zachary, again, what he's going to do is he's always going to be screening for his teammate, for the point guard. He's going to be using skillful screen to draw the point guard, the enemy point guard, and the other defender to the side. And then, while the point guard is holding the ball, Zachary is going to just dash near to Robbie, and then the point guard is going to pass to Zachary. And then, of course, like I've said before, Robbie is just going to give proper screens. He's just going to time his screens right and, screen at the perfect position to actually help out Zach. And what Zach is going to do is he's going to post up, and then unpost. That's when Robbie's actually going to screen, okay? Zachary is going to post up first and then unpost, and once Zachary unposts, that's when Robbie actually uses his screen. And then once he unposts, most of the time Zachary's just going to do a normal dunk and go through to Robbie, but he can also use smart dunk. And once he uses a normal dunk, of course, meteor dunk is going to load. This also works with that strat as well. So yeah, that's basically the strat. You're just gonna have to do it over and over and over. Do it over and over and over. It's just dunk spam. So yeah, that's the entire strategy. And enhanced dunk helps, of course, because it makes Zach's dunks even farther away. So there's that. But yeah, that's the entirety of this strat. So now let's go ahead and watch a match where I use this strat, and let's talk about this strategy some more. Alright, so first of all, let's talk about the difficulty of this strategy. How hard is it to actually pull off? And in all seriousness, the only hard part here, the only guy that's going to actually struggle a little bit if they're not used to actually using him yet for this strategy is Zachary. That's pretty much it. Zachary is only the guy that's actually going to have a little bit of a hard time if they're not used to actually using this strategy, because Zachary might just keep shooting instead of actually doing a normal dunk or a smart dunk. He might just keep shooting if he doesn't know how to time pressing the dunk button right. It's going to be pretty hard for him if he just keeps on, dunking in front of those characters instead of relying on Zachary's or Robbie's screen or the big man's screen. It's going to be a hard time for Zachary if he's not actually used to it. But for both the point guards or the big man, it's not going to be as hard. For the big man, it might be a little tricky to actually time it correctly too. Maybe he just keeps on screening too early or too late, or he doesn't screen at all. It might be a little hard for the big to actually time that, but really the only character that's going to be struggling here if they're not used to it yet is Zachary. So Zachary's gonna have to learn how to dunk properly through the big man. And as I've said before, the Robbie or the big man, he's just gonna have to time his screen to actually help out Zachary. And for the point guard, he's just gonna have to be good at actually diving for the ball, so that he can actually get it if Zachary gets blocked. And really, whoever has the ball, whoever has the ball on offense, the offensive point guard is still going to actually get the ball most of the time over the defensive point guard, as long as they know what they're doing. So again, the only guy that's actually going to be struggling with the strategy is actually Zachary. And next up, we're going to be talking about how this strategy is actually going to go up against, other strategies. And the strategy that you're actually going to want to get with this, believe it or not, it's going to be the dunkers as well, other dunkers. To be more exact, offensive dunkers, characters like Edward or Pinky. You're gonna want to actually get them because their power, they are pretty high since they are power forwards, but they don't have enhanced block like those defensive power forwards. Characters like Alto, for example, or Ranger, they don't actually have enhanced power, so you are going to be able to dunk on them more than you will be against Ranger or Alto or those other characters that have enhanced block. And up against shooters, it's going to be a toss-up. See, some shooting guards are really good. Some shooting guards are really good and cheesy. Some shooting guards are just cheesy flat out, but they are terrible. And some shooting guards are just mediocre. And it's going to be a toss-up. Really, what you're going to want to avoid is just fighting high tiers at that point. But yeah, the only real strategy that you're going to want to actually get are those offensive dunkers, since you will be able to actually dunk against them since they don't have enhanced block. But that's about it. You don't actually want to get, again, those defensive power forwards like Alto and Ranger, because they will block your dunks way easier. And with shooters, it's going to be a toss-up about how good and how cheesy the shooters are going to be. And lastly, we'll talk about how meta this strategy is. It's meta. That's it. It's just meta. Everybody uses this. It's a little less now after, the shooting guard buff. The contested shot buff, where everything goes in now, even though it's contested, yada yada, whatever. But yeah, it's meta. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you've somehow been entertained, but most importantly, I hope that it has been helpful. And I'll catch you on the next one.